I am a saint, yet I transmigrated into a vicious supporting female character in a novel. I tried every possible way to be sarcastic and harsh towards the female lead, but she always praised me for being kind, until the male lead confessed his feelings to her, and she said, "The way you treat me is not even 1/10,000th as sincere as Shinhan's," and so, ding, the mission to break up the male and female leads is complete. I have transmigrated into a book. Taking on the identity of the daughter of a corporate tycoon, my mission is to break up the male and female leads and disrupt the original plot. Shinhan, today is your first meeting with the female lead. It's the perfect opportunity to put her in her place. She's almost here, the system reminded. I immediately looked around. Today is the first day of university, and I'm sharing a dorm with the female lead, Xiao Ro Ro. In the original plot, I constantly ostracized and mocked the female lead, only to be humiliated by the male lead who felt sorry for her, so I can't follow the usual path anymore. I declined the butler's offer to drive me and came by car myself. Shinhan, remember to make a good impression on the male lead so you can win him over. The system reminded me again. Do I really have to get involved personally to break them up? Yes, that's more secure. If you end up with someone else and the male lead cheats on the female lead, what if the mission fails? You're right. Xiao Ruru pulled her suitcase along, approaching with a cheerful stride, like a light-hearted little bird. She curiously observed everything around her. Xiao Ro Ro, I called out. Xiao Ro Ro stood there in a daze, probably not expecting anyone to know her name. She looked at me with confusion. Are you calling me? That's right, I'm your roommate. I gave her a critical once-over. Xiao Ro Ro, dressed in a white t-shirt and jeans, stood in stark contrast to me, who was decked out in designer brands, complete with a sun hat and sunglasses. TSK, you look so poor and shabby, just like a laborer. Perfect timing, help me carry this suitcase. I kicked my brand name suitcase in front of her. Oh okay, Xiao Ruru didn't know how to refuse and could only humiliatingly carry one suitcase in each hand, following behind me as we walked. How about that, system? Did I do well this time? Not bad, the male lead is coming soon, be careful. The male lead walked towards me, exuding an aura of royalty. When he saw me, it was as if a switch had been triggered. Shinhan, acting like a spoiled princess again, Mingcha said, glancing at Xiao Ruru. I felt like, in that moment, I heard some classic slow-motion BGM. They volunteered. I smiled at him and quickened my pace to prevent Meng Che and Xiao Ro Ro from sparking any chemistry. Xiao Ro Ro followed my lead, speeding up until we reached the dormitory. We were staying in a double room, Xiao Ro Ro because of her outstanding academic performance, and me, of course, thanks to the power of money. Thank you, Xiao Ruru suddenly said. I was completely confused. If you hadn't shown me the way, I wouldn't have known this was a dormitory. It's too luxurious. Xiao Ruru pinched the hem of her clothes, her face flushed. So in the original plot, the female lead and male lead met because the female lead had no sense of direction. I didn't lead the way for you, but since you put it that way, you owe me a favor now. My mind raced. Then make the request. Do not approach the man we encountered today, or I will make you disappear from this world. Faced with my threat, Xiao Ruru timidly nodded. Good, this is the effect I wanted. I just don't know how long it will be effective. After instructing Xiao Ro Ro to tidy up my bed, I went out. System, where is the male lead now? I want to run into him. At the student union headquarters, in the meeting room on the second floor of building C4, the one on the far right, I was eager to see the male lead, so I barged right in. The discussion in the conference room came to an abrupt halt. Everyone turned to look at me. I gave an awkward smile. Excuse me, is the student council still looking for new members? Meng Che looked at me, frowning repeatedly. You want to join the student council? Yes, I graciously accept everyone's scrutiny. Let's exchange contact information, and I'll send you the membership application form. A girl who looked quite friendly said. I declined. No, let Meng Che send it to me. We're friends. I looked at Meng Che. Only after he indicated that he would guide me in all matters did I raise the milk tea in my hand. Thanks, this is for you. After Meng Che accepted it, I walked away with a shy demeanor. The male lead seems to be interested in you, Shinhan. Seize this opportunity and try to prevent him from interacting with the female lead as much as possible. Okay, It's almost lunchtime now, so Meng Che will definitely be heading to the cafeteria, then Xiao Ro is not allowed to go. I stopped her from going out, which made her a bit resentful. How can you not let me eat? I pushed the food I had just bought toward her. Here, eat up. Xiao Ro's anger instantly vanished without a trace. She even felt a bit ashamed of herself. Seeing my bed and everything in the suitcase neatly arranged, I was very satisfied, watching Xiao Ru being humiliated by me, tears welling up in her eyes as she picked at her food. I felt even more triumphant. I had no idea how to win over a man. The system said that just showing up in front of the male lead more often would be enough. Men are like that. If you chase after them and show too much affection, they're more likely to look down on you, but if you do nothing at all, they'll think you're innocent and adorable, and they'll want to collect you. This is all according to the system. I feel like it might not be entirely accurate. After joining the student council, I used the excuse of helping Xiao Ruru secure benefits to help her avoid many unnecessary social interactions. In reality, all of these were opportunities from the original story for her and Meng Che to develop their relationship. Miss Shen, what is the agenda for this afternoon's assembly? See. Even Xiao Ro came to ask herself. It's just about encouraging freshmen to participate in social activities and such. Anyway, it's not important. If you don't come, I can cover for you. I replied thoughtfully. Actually, I was laughing darkly inside. I won't give them the chance to gaze at each other from across a sea of people. The main speaker at this assembly was the student council president, Meng Che, and I was the freshman representative who spoke right after him. As I passed by Meng Che, I glanced back at him, but he walked away calmly. I guess I might have been a bit too deliberate. Meng Che still doesn't seem very interested in me. After the boring meeting ended, I took the initiative to approach him. What do you want from me? Meng Che saw me following and immediately stopped in his tracks. Can't I come find you for no reason? Suit yourself. The Jiang family is holding a birthday party tomorrow night. Are you going? Meng Che refers to a branch of the nationally renowned Jiang family in this city. Although it is just a branch, it is already a top-tier existence. In the original story, I became friends with Jiang Lixue, the daughter of the Jiang family, at this birthday party, and then we colluded to bully Xiao Ruru. Later, we turned against each other over competing for Meng Che. Jiang Lixue invited me many days ago. I would have forgotten if you hadn't mentioned it. Of course, after agreeing, I returned to the dormitory. Xiao Ruru also came back and brought me some fruit. Clearly, she has already become my loyal servant. Are you going to Jiang Lixue's birthday party? I remember this woman seemed to have invited all her classmates. The party is being held at the huge villa her family gave her for her 10th birthday. It can hold half the school's population. I won't be going. I have to work overtime tomorrow night. After saying this, Xiao Ruru went to call her family. The part-time job she has was recommended by me, working as a cashier at one of the counters under my family's business, working for me, and even having to be grateful to me. I'd become so malicious. Oh, by the way, will you still give her a birthday gift? I suddenly realized this. It was the gift from Xiao Ro that made Meng Che think she was a girl with a clever and thoughtful heart. Of course I'll give it to her. I plan to give it to her during class tomorrow. Xiao Ro took out the woven rattan handbag she had prepared earlier. My heart tightened, and I immediately reached out to snatch it back. Then I casually tossed her the new bag I had bought a couple of days ago. I'll trade with you, this time, if I give this gift. Meng Che will surely look at me in a new light. Xiao Ro held her bag and remained silent for a long while, probably because she didn't dare to defy me. On Jiang Lixue's birthday, I gave her a hand-woven rattan bag right in front of Meng Che. As expected, the way Meng Che looked at me changed. I made the right move. The gift Xiao Ro gave was the same as most people's, and it didn't attract anyone's attention. It seems to be working. Keep it up. The system also approves of my approach. Did you make this yourself? After Jiang Lixue left, Meng Che asked. Yes, I nodded against my conscience. I didn't expect you to be quite skilled. It's just a small skill, not worth mentioning. Anyway, our two families are on the way. Would you like to come with me tonight? Meng Che agreed. It just felt like Jiang Lixue didn't seem very interested in this gift. But it doesn't matter. Who cares about her? The drive takes about half an hour, enough time for me to bond with him. In the evening, at Jiang Lixue's villa, Meng Che and I sat in a corner chatting. trying not to draw attention. Before setting out, the Shen family parents told me to please Jiang Lishua, saying that if we could cooperate with her family, our family could reach new heights. I assured them that I would complete the task, but in reality, I had no intention of speaking to her at all. Jiang Lishua's family is just a branch, after all. I remember that later, Xiao Ruru would encounter the true Jiang family heiress, gain her favor, and receive a lot of help. Just snatch it away from her right then. Meng Che, a gentle voice sounded beside me, and I saw Jiang Lishua hand Meng Che a glass of wine. Care for a drink, Jiang Lishua? Do you think I don't exist? I snatched the wine glass from Meng Che's hand and placed it on the table beside us. Shen Han, we're all friends here. Saying such things makes it sound so distant. Jiang Lishua smiled at me, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. We all move in the same circle, so everyone is well aware of my intentions. I did this just to see how Meng Che would react. Meng Che reached out his arm to stop me. Shen Han, don't make a scene. Today is her birthday. Though he said that, Meng Che did not pick up that glass of wine. Jiang Lishua shot me a very subtle glare, then walked away as if nothing had happened. Why didn't you drink it? Don't ask questions you already know the answer to. Meng Che turned his head away, avoiding my gaze. Clearly, this was a sign of his shyness. Great, we're halfway there. System, how much of the fate line between Meng Che and Xiao Rou is left? Still 60% left. Keep going. Why is there still so much? The overall strength of the Meng family is currently not as good as ours. Perhaps we can try to tempt them with benefits. When I told my parents that I wanted to marry into the Meng family, they were stunned. Hannah, are you okay? The Meng family has a bright future ahead, and I think it holds great investment value. Mr. Shen shook his head. Our Shen family's daughter would never marry beneath her station. If you really like him, you can date him for now, but wait until he has the capability to marry you before considering anything further. Dad, in the original story, after Meng Che grew up, he made our whole family, and the Jiang family, suffer terribly. If I could handle it myself, would I even need to come to you? Out of desperation, I started seeking out Meng Che even more frequently. Don't you have your own things to do? Finally, Meng Che couldn't bear it any longer. Holding the unsent love letter in my hand, I felt a bit aggrieved. Don't you understand my feelings yet? I don't like someone like you. Then what kind do you like? Like Xiao Rou, a stubborn little white flower. Do I still need to find someone to bully me? I'm already this beautiful, and he still doesn't think I'm good enough. Meng Che did not directly answer my question. He just looked at me. I was about to back down when he suddenly held me and left a kiss on my forehead. Then, would you be willing to show me the proposal for Shen Corporation's next project? His tone was gentle as he whispered softly in my ear. The atmosphere grew somewhat ambiguous for a moment. Slap. Without hesitation, I gave him a hard slap across the face. Then, I tore up the love letter I had painstakingly copied from the internet and threw the pieces in his face. Dream on. I just wanted to talk about love with you, but you were trying to steal my father's wisdom. Even if you don't like me, there's no need to take revenge like this. I went back to the dorm and washed my face vigorously, then lit a stick of incense and waved it around myself, to ward off evil spirits. The next project of the Shen family is extremely important. The reason Meng Che was able to rise so quickly was because he seized that opportunity. In the original story, I proudly revealed the contents of the proposal, intending to show off, but Meng Che borrowed the crucial part. Moreover, with the help of Xiao Rou, who had gained the favor of the Jiang family's eldest daughter, the deal was sealed as soon as she made her appearance. The Meng family seized this opportunity, soaring to great heights and trampling the Shen family into the mud. The Jiang family followed closely behind. Speaking of Xiao Rou, her encounter with the Jiang family's eldest daughter is also approaching soon. In the original plot, while working as a food runner at a restaurant, she was harassed by a pot-bellied boss. The Jiang family's eldest daughter, seeing injustice on the road, drew her sword to help. She also turned down the collaboration with that boss. Thus, Xiao Rou's status was elevated to a higher level. Those who bullied her became fewer. Now, Xiao Rou no longer works in that place, but I'm worried that without her as the catalyst, it might not work. Xiao Rou agreed to help me and temporarily applied for a job as a waitress at that restaurant. I plan to step forward when she gets bullied, to make a good impression on the real Miss Jiang. I'll go serve the dishes. Aren't you tired standing here? Xiao Rou saw me standing nearby and wanted to get me a chair to sit on, but she was scolded by the manager. Don't do irrelevant things during work hours, get to work quickly. Xiao Rou gave me an apologetic look and carried the tray into the private room. How naive, I'm about to use you, and here you are feeling sorry for me for not having a place to sit. Soon, noisy and clamorous sounds came from inside the private room. There was even the sound of plates crashing to the ground. I stared at the door, rushing to enter the private room to save someone just as the Jiang family's eldest daughter arrived. Stop right there. I pushed the door open and sternly reprimanded. The particularly well-fed-looking boss was currently holding Xiao Rou's hand. His eyes clearly lit up when he saw me. Another pretty girl. Looks like today is going to be fun. The other middle-aged men burst into laughter as well, saying many unspeakable things. It made me feel extremely disgusted. I looked around and saw a bottle of wine on the counter nearby. Summoning all my strength, I made up my mind and smashed the bottle hard against his head. Then I pulled Xiao Ruru behind me, and the eldest daughter of the Jiang family had already appeared at the door. I could even hear the sound of footsteps. We absolutely cannot let Xiao Rou steal her attention. When the scream rang out, the door was opened. When Jiang Qingyue entered, she saw the boss covering his head, his face covered in red wine, and there's me, with an air of righteous indignation, and Xiao Rou, trembling and hiding behind me. What's going on here? Why is it so lively? Jiang Qingyue raised an eyebrow. Xiao Rou tugged at my sleeve, feeling a bit timid in the face of such a scene. I had already told her what would happen when she came, probably because she had never encountered such a situation before. Even though she was mentally prepared, she was still afraid. Look how malicious I am, forcing her to be my bait. Moreover, she had no choice but to agree. This shrew. She suddenly rushed in and hit me on the head with a bottle. Miss Jiang, I'm afraid I need to go to the hospital. Go ahead. Jiang Qingyue stepped aside from the doorway. What about our meeting? Actually, I can still endure it. I'll go to the hospital after the meeting is over. No, I won't be working with you anymore. What? Why? The boss shouted in disbelief. Although I didn't see everything that just happened, I heard it all. Jiang Qingyue sneered coldly. You didn't come with full sincerity. If you have desires, why not resolve them in advance? Do you not take the Jiang family seriously, or is it that, for you, going into heat anytime, anywhere is perfectly normal? In that case, I dare not cooperate with someone who hasn't fully evolved into a civilized human. With that speech, she pinned quite a few labels on the CEO. His face turned pale, and he stammered, unable to speak. Both Xiao Rou and I were stunned. After Jiang Qingyue finished speaking, she glanced at us again. Are you leaving or not? Only then did I snap out of it and followed her, walking ahead. Thank you so much. My friend just wanted to come here to work part-time and earn some extra money. When I came to see her, something like this happened. As I spoke, I patted Xiao Rou's shoulder. She was probably terrified. Xiao Ruru was very cooperative, sobbing along with the act. That's right, Henin, it's a good thing you were there, but I was really worried that what you did might have been dangerous. Thankfully, this older sister came along. Next time, don't be so reckless. No, if my friend is in danger, I definitely won't just stand by and do nothing, I said firmly. The two of us held hands, and the scene of deep sisterly affection moved Jiang Qingyue a little. You two are quite interesting. I showered Jiang Qingyue with a wave of flattery and introduced myself. The Shen family. Good, I'll remember that. Jiang Qingyue came here to visit Jiang Lishue's parents. She also planned to inspect the various industries under the Jiang family's name and those in partnership with the Jiang family, including the project my dad is about to negotiate. Hannah, you are truly a compassionate and kind-hearted person. I believe that when you take over your family's business in the future, you will be an excellent leader, Xiao Ruru suddenly said. I was a bit confused. This wasn't part of the script we had rehearsed earlier. I also believe that you, young lady, have a strong sense of justice, Jiang Qingyue praised. After returning to the dormitory, I asked Xiao Rou why she said lines that weren't part of the plan. These are all my sincere words. What's true or false? She's just gaslighting herself, isn't she? You're the best person I've ever met. You told me that doing this was to increase the success rate of your family's project. So clever. Xiao Ro looked at me with what actually seemed like admiration. Don't you think I'm just using you? I feel goosebumps all over my body. Not at all. Xiao Ro suddenly took out an exquisite silver brooch, adorned with diamonds that clearly indicated its high value. The job you found for me is not only easy but also pays well. You're truly my benefactor. If it weren't for you, I'd be struggling to even afford meals right now, Xiao Ruru said solemnly, placing the brooch in my hand. Next week is your birthday. I originally planned to give it to you then, but I have to go home for a while, so I'm giving it to you early. Why didn't you give me something you made by hand? I took it and asked. In the original work, Xiao Ruru's various handmade crafts were a distinctive feature. Her hands were quite skillful, capable of weaving all sorts of things. Do you like the things I made myself? Xiao Ro couldn't help but feel surprised. Cough, cough. Wasn't the gift you originally planned to give Jiang Lishua something you made yourself? Mentioning this, she felt a bit awkward and let out a self-mocking laugh. If I had money, who would make such shabby things? Where I come from, these handmade items are the least valuable. Everyone knows how to make them. I thought since we're classmates, I'd just give a gift as a gesture. But this expensive brooch is a different story. I suddenly understood, but I didn't forget my mission and snorted coldly. With just this little money, buying this would clean you out, wouldn't it? You'll probably have to live on instant noodles for days again, right? Don't push yourself. I have to say, Xiao Ro has good taste. I still accepted this gift, even though I mocked her. She didn't seem to be angry. Xiao Ro has taken a week off. It's the busy farming season now, and she needs to go home to help. Fortunately, there aren't any important classes during this time, so I can go back and help out. Xiao Ruru sighed as she packed her luggage. I seized the opportunity to mock her. You really are a busy person. You're not planning to spend your whole life stuck on those few acres of land at home, are you? That would be too pitiful. If I'm not considered acerbic and mean-spirited like this, then there are no truly malicious people in this world. Xiao Ruru indeed lowered her head with a hint of inferiority. I know. Thank you for your encouragement. I'm not encouraging you. I went with Father Shen to that long-planned project. It had been a long time since I slapped Meng Che that I last saw him, without our family's proposal. The Meng family certainly had no right to compete with us for this project. When I saw Xiao Ro again, I had already leveled up, thanks to Jiang Qingyue, who suddenly appeared at the time and, upon seeing me, decided on the spot to cast a vote for the Shen family. The situation was instantly reversed. Shen's father even had to rely on others to introduce him before he learned Jiang Qingyue's identity. After a long silence, he patted my shoulder. If you truly like that boy from the Meng family, putting a little pressure on them to arrange a marriage isn't out of the question. However, you'll have to keep a close eye on our family's assets in the future. I shook my head. Forget it, I don't like him anymore. No way. If you don't keep him by your side, what if he ends up with the female lead in the end? The system suddenly popped up. I've already taken most of the female lead's opportunities, so they probably won't. Forget it. At worst, when the female lead arrives, I'll just continue with my previous tactics. Anyway, a political marriage is out of the question. I don't want to give Meng Che that status. I didn't go looking for Meng Che, but he came to find me on his own. Shen Han, don't you like me anymore? Meng Che looked as if I had broken his heart. Yes, I nodded very honestly. He looked very sad and lonely. Then he started pursuing me. Not only did I receive carefully prepared snacks every day, but there were also various invitations. Meng Che was great at finding fun places, taking me for drives, enjoying the night views, or going to movies and concerts. He even booked all the electronic screens in the city on my birthday to set off cyber fireworks to celebrate. What the system said actually makes some sense. Men really are quite despicable. When Xiao Ro returned, she brought me a lot of local specialties. Along with that, she also brought some surprising news. Hannah, I plan to take the IELTS and apply to study abroad. My eyes lit up. Great, I support you. Do you need a training teacher? I can hire a one-on-one tutor for you. As long as Xiao Ruru goes abroad to study, won't she be far away from Meng Che? Plus, there's no spark between them yet. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. I no longer have to force myself to endure. Why don't you just skip the exam? I'll hire a translator for you, and you can go abroad directly, living and studying there. Xiao Ruru was stunned and immediately cut me off. No, 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 you're exaggerating. I just want to take it slow and do what I can with the abilities I have. She had already made up her mind, and if I were too enthusiastic, she might notice something was off. But I still introduced several foreigners to her. Everything seemed calm on the surface until one day, when Meng Che suddenly brought up Xiao Ruru. I remember your roommate. Is her family struggling financially? Why are you asking about her? I immediately became alert. Nothing much. I ran into her while shopping today. Although Meng Che was trying his best to restrain himself, I could still hear the longing in his tone. Oh, are you interested in her? I looked at him coldly. No, I was just asking casually. As for the investment you mentioned to me before, I think it's better to forget about it. When the Meng family has something more worthy of investment, then bring it to me. After I finished speaking, I left Meng Che behind and walked away. Originally, his persistent efforts to please me had started to move me a little. Now it seems I still need to boost my brain power. I was actually so easily fooled by a man. System, why is Meng Che still interested in Xiao Rou? I asked, somewhat puzzled. As long as there is even a single thread of fate between them, it can easily be reignited. It must be completely severed. The system's tone also sounded a bit regretful. Of course, part of it is due to the character design. After all, Xiao Rou is exactly the type that Meng Che likes, truly worthy of Meng Che. Even when just buying something, he can develop an interest in the cashier girl. Why not just add the whole world to his harem? Don't even let a female mosquito escape. I asked Xiao Rou if she had seen Meng Che, and the confusion on her face seemed quite genuine. Maybe I've seen him before. He looks kind of familiar. After saying that, she glanced at me again. I won't get close to him. But, what's wrong? I don't think he's a very good person. Henin, maybe you should find someone else. Xiao Ruru spoke cautiously, glancing at me after each sentence. She cited some evidence of how unreliable Meng Che was, but my mind was completely occupied with how to keep them further apart, so I didn't listen carefully. I just casually replied, "It's not that bad. It's not as serious as you say." Xiao Rou didn't say anything more. Meng's parents came to my house, wearing sincere smiles and carrying a large pile of expensive gifts. They suggested that since Meng Che and I are so compatible, perhaps we could settle things down first. Because of my previous statement, Father Shen and Mother Shen didn't have much of a reaction, just with a faint smile, indicating they would carefully consider it. If you think this marriage is good, why not just settle it directly? Father Meng rubbed his hands together and said, originally, they had no thoughts, but after learning about the relationship between Meng Che and me, they started to scheme. This marriage is a serious matter after all, not something to be taken lightly. We can't just say yes or no. We have to consider the opinions of the two children themselves. Right, you're absolutely right. No matter what my dad said, Mr. Meng would nod in agreement, occasionally even throwing in a bit of flattery. By the way, since we're discussing something like this, why isn't your son, Meng Che, here in person? Speaking of this, the parents of the Meng family were somewhat troubled. He is a bit shy, not very comfortable talking about these things, so we came instead. Mother Meng quickly reacted, smiling as she spoke. Could it be that he doesn't have time to come? Who knows which sweetheart he's accompanying? I walked down from upstairs and asked coldly. The faces of the Meng family parents instantly turned pale. How could that be? Meng Che really likes you. He's always telling us how beautiful and kind you are. I hadn't expected them to bring this up on their own initiative, and just moments ago, I received a photo sent by a classmate. In the picture, Meng Che is embracing a girl. And the expression on his face is beyond words of enjoyment. The girl's face is unclear, and it's uncertain who she is. I suspect it might be Xiao Rou, but the system says the fate connection hasn't increased. Could it be that besides me and Xiao Rou, Meng Che is also flirting with someone else? What a scumbag indeed. When I took out this photo, Meng's parents, knowing they had no face left, slunk away in shame. Just then, I saw that the classmate who had sent me the photo had messaged me again. Miss Shen, your roommate actually backstabbed you. Don't you think you should teach her a lesson? Is that Xiao Rou in the photo? Absolutely. How could it be fake? I saw it clearly. This classmate is quite gossipy. but they wouldn't spread rumors without reason. How did they still end up together? And didn't Xiao Ruru promise me to stay far away from Meng Che? Why hasn't she kept her word? Could it be that all the obedience and submission were just a smokescreen? This female lead is really too cunning. After returning to school, I saw Xiao Ruru still holding the tape recorder to practice speaking, and I was filled with anger. Didn't I recommend a teacher to you? Didn't the teacher ask you to attend the class? Ah, yes. Then why didn't you go? Wouldn't the money I paid be wasted? Have you already paid for me? I thought I needed to pay the tuition separately. Xiao Ruru lowered her head, timidly picking at her hands. I'm really fed up, learning like you. How long is it going to take? Not only is it inefficient, but it's also a waste of time. Taking the IELTS, even passing CT6 would be difficult. As I spoke, seeing that tape recorder made me even more annoyed. My principle is, if I'm unhappy, I take action. I snatched it and smashed it on the ground, shattering it instantly. If you want to learn, go to a training class. The teachers there offer one-on-one instruction. Let's see if you still want to learn. I sneered coldly, vented my anger, and then walked out. In the original story, Xiao Ruru would study in every corner of the school, by the lake, in the pavilion, in the small grove, and in the library. Every place offered a chance encounter with Meng Che, at the training center, with a teacher keeping a close eye on her from every angle. Let's see how she manages to run into anyone. When Meng Che tried to win me over, I didn't even spare him a glance. Even so, he still had the nerve to ask where Xiao Ruru had gone. I haven't seen her for days. Could she have gone home again? He tried his best to imitate my sarcastic tone, but not only did he fail to mimic it, I even detected a hint of indulgence in his voice. Get lost. I know you've been involved with her for a long time, playing the game of deception. Meng Che makes me feel extremely disgusted. Shenhan. Your temper is something only I can tolerate. I didn't get involved with her. I just spoke to her a few times, Meng Che said earnestly. He frowned, looking as if I had truly wronged him. I've spoken to her a few times, so why did you still hug her? I saw the photo. She was the one who initiated it. Really, I'm not lying. Meng Che grew anxious. After spending so much time with him, I could tell when he was lying, looking at how afraid he is of being misunderstood. It seems like Xiao Ruru really did take the initiative. Are you telling the truth? Yes, I was just talking to her, and she suddenly hugged me. She even invited me to dinner on her own. On the surface, Meng Che appears troubled, but in reality, the corners of his mouth are unconsciously curling up. Slap. I gave him another slap and walked away angrily. This time, I was truly angry. I called Father Shen. Dad, I want to go abroad, and I'm taking a friend with me. Of course, that's no problem. Which country do you want to go to? If your friend needs to apply for a passport, it might take a few days. Mr. Shen didn't ask why and agreed readily. Okay, I ordered Xiao Ruru to get a passport, yet she seemed somewhat unwilling. You've already been so good to me, I can't accept anything more from you. Seeing her so conflicted, I was furious enough to spit fire. Who's been good to you? If you think I've been good to you, why did you steal my boyfriend? Didn't I tell you to stay away from him? You even took the initiative to invite him. Are you that desperate for a man? Xiao Ruru was stunned by my question, standing there in a daze. I was angry, but I didn't want to go out, so I lay down on the bed. It took a long while before I finally heard Xiao Ruru's timid voice. I'm sorry for making you unhappy. I didn't respond to her. I pretended to be asleep. Xiao Ruru sat by the edge of my blanket and patted my shoulder. I immediately dodged away. I really don't want to listen to the hypocritical words of that innocent-looking girl. I was indeed the one who took the initiative. Before this, he confessed to me 3 times. My angry movements suddenly froze. 3 times. Meng Che is really persistent. It seems that on the days he wasn't hovering around me, he was secretly trying to win favor with Xiao Ruru. I never agreed even once. Don't worry, what's the matter? Moved by his sincerity, I asked angrily. No. It's just, I feel like you really like him. You're such a good person. Why do you have to like him? I think you deserve someone better. I heard your family's business is doing very well, so you should have more options. Xiao Ruru's voice even choked up a bit as she spoke. How could you like him? He's a man who changes his mind at the drop of a hat, completely unworthy of you. The more Xiao Ruru spoke, the more confused I became. Why does it feel like my brain isn't quite keeping up? I've been mocking her, belittling her. Why is she praising me instead? I felt a little better, but I wasn't completely appeased. Is that why you took the initiative to be with him? I just wanted you to see his true colors. I don't want to be with him. I want to focus on my studies. Xiao Ruru spoke softly and weakly, her gaze fixed on me the entire time. To prove her determination to me, Xiao Ruru arranged to meet Meng Che at a coffee shop. They were on the first floor, while I was on the second. As soon as Meng Che saw Xiao Ruru, he wanted to get handsy, but she immediately reached out to stop him. I asked you out because there are some things I want to make clear to you, Xiao Ruru said seriously. Meng Che immediately hushed her, first waving for the waiter to come over and place an order, paying with flair. And only then allowing Xiao Ruru to speak. What a nasty habit. Go ahead, have you made up your mind? Once I take over the Shin family, you'll be my public girlfriend. You're overthinking it. What I meant to say is that your character is too poor, like a cabbage that's already rotten in the ground. I have absolutely no interest in you, and I never will. Don't think your threats will work on me. You'll never win over Shinhan. You and her are simply not on the same level. After Xiao Ruru finished speaking, she turned and left without giving Meng Che any room to explain. Sooner or later, you'll be crying and begging me. Meng Che took a leisurely sip of coffee. What an astonishing sense of ease. I witnessed the whole thing from upstairs and finally believed that Xiao Ruru and Meng Che are innocent. System, how much of the fate line is left now? There's still 40%. That's still quite a lot. Is it because of Meng Che's current state of mind? It seems I need to push Xiao Ruru a bit further. I stood upstairs, laughing at Meng Che's failure, and when he saw it was me, he clearly panicked. After that, Meng Che became shameless and unafraid of any consequences. He had already set Xiao Ruru as his main target, sending her flowers or chocolates every day. I was originally a bit flustered, but the system said the fate line was constantly decreasing. It seems Xiao Ruru really has no interest in him, then I can rest assured. Under my coercion, Xiao Ruru still went to apply for a passport. Upon learning that Xiao Ruru was going abroad with me, Meng Che immediately prepared a grand confession. He arranged a huge heart with roses downstairs at the girls' dormitory. Xiao Ruru, I like you. Every expression of yours, every movement, can tug at my heartstrings. How could there be such a special girl like you in this world? If I could be with you, it would be the greatest fortune of my life. Many people were watching. Faced with such a scene, Xiao Ruru felt somewhat inferior and dared not go out. In the original story, when the two of them were together, Meng Che also used this move. This move is quite effective in winning favor with a girl like Xiao Ruru. I leaned against the window, watching the scene unfold downstairs. Perhaps my gaze was too direct, as Xiao Ruru went downstairs and snatched the megaphone from Meng Che's hands. Classmate Meng Che, let me tell you. It's impossible for us to be together. It gave the surrounding onlookers a shocking blow right from the start. Everyone sighed with regret. They then became even more eager to hear what would come next. Before, Shinhan had feelings for you, but you never gave her a clear response, keeping her hanging. Do you know what a wonderful person she is? The fate line between the male and female leads has decreased by 5%. Do you know what a kind-hearted girl you've missed out on? As Xiao Ruru spoke, she actually grew indignant. She was so wonderful, yet you only responded to her after her family became prosperous, and you even flirted with me in the meantime. The fate line between the male and female leads has decreased by 5%. Someone like you doesn't deserve her love at all. The fate line between the male and female leads has decreased by 5%. Why is it dropping so fast? I watched the bustling scene downstairs with curiosity. Everyone doubted the truth of Xiao Ruru's words, and she grew anxious, extremely anxious. Classmate Shinhan is simply the kindest presence in this world. She took the initiative to bring me to the dormitory as soon as school started, introduced me to job opportunities, and used her position in the student council to bring me many conveniences. Classmate Jiang Lishua celebrated her birthday, and to save me from embarrassment, she gave me a luxury bag as a gift. Upon learning about my family situation, she even encouraged me to study hard. The fate line between the male and female leads decreased by 5%. When she found out I wanted to study abroad, she even smashed my cassette recorder. forced me to attend a training class, and paid my tuition. Now she's even taking me away directly. For the sake of her family's business, she has sacrificed a lot. Their family's success is because everyone worked together toward the same goal. The fate line between the male and female leads has decreased by 5%. The only flaw she has is that she once liked you, Meng Che. Besides hindering my studies, what else can you do? What right do you have to say you like me? The fate line between the male and female leads has decreased by 5%. You are not even 1/10,000th as sincere as Shen Han. The fate line between the male and female leads has decreased by 10%. Congratulations, Shen Han. The task has been successfully completed. This passionate speech earned everyone's applause. Meng Che left in disgrace. Xiao Ro stood in the middle of the heart-shaped arrangement of roses, looking in my direction. She said loudly, Shen Han, I will definitely work hard to catch up to you. I hope that one day I will be worthy of standing by your side. Is this female lead? Perhaps a lesbian. Everyone is cheering, and this scene is making me very nervous. Could it be that Xiao Ro has fallen in love with me? System, am I not the villainess? Why is the female lead reacting like this? System, no matter how I call out, the system will not appear again, just as promised to me in the beginning. As long as I complete the task, I can stay here forever. I was originally a lonely soul, a wandering ghost. Now, I have a real body and a wonderful family. Thank you, system, for choosing me, even though I knew the system was gone. I couldn't help but express my gratitude in my heart. Xiao Ro was still downstairs, looking up at me eagerly, as if waiting for my response. I had no choice but to call out to her from above, all right, I'll be waiting for you. This incident caused a sensation throughout the entire school, with the focus primarily on me and Xiao Ro. Of course, Meng Che also faced his fair share of ridicule. We ultimately cancelled our plans to go abroad. Xiao Ro still prefers to stay here and go abroad later based on her own abilities. Anyway, there are no tasks now, so she can do whatever she wants. It's just that I feel she seems more loyal now. I often cheer myself on. I must work hard to stand by Shen Han's side. The end. The real heiress comes to the company to experience life. The boss wants a PPT, and she's offering me 10,000 to make it. The boss needs some data pulled, and she's giving me 20,000 to compile it. The boss urgently needs a plan, and she's spending 50,000 to buy out my creative idea. Just as I'm over the moon, my best friend says I lack vision. Do you work hard just for the money? How can you have no self-respect at all? I had no choice but to decline the true heiress's proposal. Later, my best friend made a mistake in her plan and ended up arguing with the boss. She was so angry that she wore my dress and left a big mess in the leader's office. The blurry video was uploaded online, and I became an overnight sensation. On the surface, I became the internet's favorite protagonist in a workplace revenge story, but in reality, I was not only fired but also blacklisted by every company. On a certain late night, 2 months after losing my job, my best friend threw my luggage out of our shared apartment, and she mocked me, saying, even with such a huge amount of traffic given to you, you still couldn't make it work. Get out of here, you shitty loser. I dragged my luggage along the empty street. In the end, she was dragged into an alley by extremists and tortured to death. When she opened her eyes again, she had returned to the first day the real heiress started her job. Jinjin, let's have lunch together. Shall I? I've ordered 2 set meals. Also, the boss just asked me to help him make a PPT, but I don't know how. Can you help me? I'll pay you. Looking at the chat history that popped up in the computer dialog box, my mind went blank for a moment. After a while, I realized I had been reborn. I had returned to the first day the true heiress, Kuhan, joined the company. Can't even make a simple PowerPoint presentation. How did this new hire get recruited? Look at the Dior she's wearing and the Hermes bag she's carrying. Definitely gifts from some old man. Stay away from women like her, or your pure heart might get tainted, and you could end up on the path of being kept. That would mean all those years of studying were for nothing. My best friend, Su Zian, who was sitting next to me, went on and on with a long rant. Her words were full of disdain for Kuhan, and on my computer screen, new messages from Kihan in the chat window kept coming. Jinjin, the boss asked me to pull data again, and I still don't know how to do it. Can you help me? I'll give you 10,000, okay? If you can also make the PPT, is 20,000 enough? The familiar scene played out once again, my small fists gradually clenched. You should know, I had just graduated, and at that moment, my salary was only 3,500, everything except rent must be saved, and saved again. Only then can one barely survive in this city. But now, Kuhan has given me a chance to get rich overnight. Just pulling some data earns 10,000. Making a PowerPoint presentation earns 20,000. This is simply a pie falling from the sky. No, it's gold coins raining down. How could I not be tempted? Su Zian, who had been peeking at my screen all along, frowned deeply upon seeing all of this. You're not thinking of agreeing to her, are you? That woman is not decent. You should stay far away from her. Besides, are you the kind of person who only cares about money? Do you work hard just for money? How can you have no self-respect at all for the sake of money? Su Zian was criticizing me harshly. I glanced at her sideways, feeling utterly contemptuous inside. In my previous life, she had stood on the moral high ground just like this, trying to dissuade me from earning extra money. She privately contacted Kuhan, wanting to help him gather data, create PowerPoint presentations, and draft proposals. However, Kuhan simply didn't think much of her abilities, so he politely declined, of course. Su Zian did not disappoint everyone's judgment of her. The submitted data is frequently incorrect, and the resulting plans are completely off the mark. When the leader pointed out her issues, she didn't listen. Instead, she felt she was being discriminated against in the workplace and ended up arguing with the leader on the spot, even, frustrated by not winning the argument. She wore my skirt to the leader's office and left a big mess. The leader discovered feces on the desk and was furious. So he accessed the surveillance equipment that had never been used before. The camera had been covered in dust for years. This resulted in a blurry video. Only the general attire of the culprit could be identified. So, under Su Zian's baseless accusation, I was unjustly implicated. I tried to appeal, but no one would listen to my explanation, especially after that video inadvertently spread online. I became the cool, powerful female protagonist in everyone's mouth, cleaning up the workplace. A massive wave of traffic surged toward me. For a moment, I couldn't tell which way was up. Su Zian suggested that I go live to take a dump, so I could attract traffic and then sell products. But I couldn't bear the shame, so I didn't listen to her for a long time. Even, she started the live stream early because I wanted to correct the facts, completely cementing my image as the dump king. 3 months. She built her account by making fun of me. And my experiences of job hunting and hitting walls everywhere became her talking points. After that, to gain more followers, she deliberately framed me to win sympathy from her fans. Driven by her fans, I was eventually kicked out by her. Penniless, I wandered the streets and met a tragic end. Yi Zhen, I'm talking to you. You're not really going to agree to sell your labor to work for a woman who's like a mistress, are you? Su Zian's haughty tone made my ears ache. I scratched my ear, then turned the computer screen in another direction to prevent Su Zian from peeking any further, and with lightning speed, I typed a few words in the chat box. The young lady has arrived, and little Zhenjin is here to escort you. About 5 minutes, I pulled out the data that Kuhan needed. The second I sent the data to Kuhan, I received a transfer of 10,000 yuan. Noon, Kuhan was indeed sitting in the break room, waiting to have lunch with me. 2 exquisitely crafted takeout wooden boxes were placed on the table, looking fresh and vibrant. I walked over. She quickly thanked me. Zhenjin, thank you so much for earlier. If it weren't for you, I would definitely have been fired by the company. She pulled me to sit beside her and pushed the lunchbox in front of me. This is takeout I ordered from Hefeng. I didn't know what you like to eat, so I just picked a few things at random. Please make do with it, if you're free tonight. I'll take you out for something delicious. Wait for the lunchbox to open. The Australian lobster, langoustine, and salmon platter instantly dazzled my eyes. As expected, the young lady sure eats well. Recalling the 3 months of unemployment in my past life, I was penniless and could only eat Su Zian's leftovers every day. I was often so hungry that my stomach felt cold and cramped, my chest practically touching my back. My eyes instantly reddened. What's wrong? Does it not suit your taste? Wait a moment, there are 2 more layers below, take a look. And so, I then saw the legendary 3-compartment soup with bird's nest, shark fin, and sea cucumber, black pearl pigeon stew. and white truffle cod cakes, and a beautiful fruit and vegetable salad that could make one's eyes sparkle. Yizhen, I noticed you didn't order takeout for lunch, so I bought you a vegetable pancake. It's 5 yuan, remember to transfer it to me. An untimely voice sounded from behind me. Kihan and I then saw Su Zian carrying an oil-stained pancake. I frowned and said, I didn't ask you to bring me a pancake. She replied earnestly, but aren't you out of money for food? That's why I specifically brought this for you. I shifted my body slightly, allowing Su Zian to clearly see the exquisite lunchbox on my desk, and answered, no need, you can keep the pancake for yourself. Kihan brought me a meal. She narrowed her eyes and questioned, are you sure you want to eat hers, not the one I brought for you? Her tone made it seem as if choosing anyone else would be a betrayal to her. Even the colleagues nearby started pointing and whispering, Yizhen must only want to hang out with Kuhan because she's rich. Although Su Zian doesn't have much money, she at least cares about Yizhen not having eaten. Yizhen seems a bit heartless, but it's only natural. How can a 5 yuan vegetable pancake compare to the exquisite set meal from a 5-star hotel? Kuhan's set meal must cost at least 1,000 yuan. Upon hearing these comments, Kuhan also showed an awkward expression. Seeing the young lady being wronged, I felt quite upset inside. Should I eat the vegetable pancake or the boxed meal? Why can't I just choose for myself? To think I'd be morally coerced by someone, I took a deep breath, pulled out my phone, and immediately transferred 5 yuan to Su Zian. Then I reached out and took the vegetable pancake from Su Zian's hand. Su Zian curled the corner of her mouth, glanced somewhat smugly at the deeply hurt Kuhan, then linked her arm with mine and leaned close to me, saying, I knew it, we're the best friends. I sneered coldly. I pulled my arm out of her embrace and tossed the vegetable pancake into the trash can, and I said very seriously, Su Zian, don't bring me vegetable pancakes anymore. I'm really tired of their greasy taste, and I'm truly fed up with the days when you eat boxed meals while I eat vegetable pancakes. As soon as these words were spoken, Su Zian's face froze. Kuhan was also slightly taken aback. The surrounding colleagues furrowed their brows even more, and I was not the least bit timid, venting all the grievances I had endured these days. In the past, I considered you a good friend and close confidant, so I never questioned you. But look at what you've done. The landlord clearly said the rent was to be paid monthly, yet you deliberately lied to me, demanding a 6-month deposit up front. As a result, I had no money for food and could only survive on snacks from the office pantry, and you criticized me for being unethical and even threatened to expose me, when I couldn't afford to pay the electricity bill and charged my power bank at the office. You accused me of lacking public morality. I struggled to survive. Yet I constantly faced your contempt and discrimination. Every time you ate a boxed meal while I could only watch and nibble on a vegetable pancake, you so naturally comforted me by saying that youth is meant for hardship, and you so earnestly preached that one should not accept handouts. Being friends and confidants with you, I constantly doubted whether my moral standards even met the requirements of 9 years of compulsory education. Now, I've come to my senses. Life is short. To hell with your morality and grand principles. I have no money, I'm starving, I need to eat, and I want to eat well. With that, I picked up my chopsticks and shoveled several mouthfuls of the beautifully prepared food from the lunchbox into my mouth. A wonderful flavor spread through my mouth. I was almost moved to tears. This warm, comforting food, so warm, it's simply impossible to stop. So I just kept my head down and continued devouring the food, probably because I was eating too ferociously. Perhaps it was because my words just now were too pitiful. Colleagues who had originally sided with Su Zian couldn't help but sigh. It's like she's fleeing from a famine, it's just too pitiful. But is Su Zian really that harsh, eating boxed meals herself while giving her good friend vegetable pancakes? Enough said, knowing full well her best friend is broke, yet still forcing her to pay 6 months rent up front, really shows what kind of person she is. Snacks in the break room are meant for employees to stave off hunger. Even the logistics department hasn't said we can't eat them, so who is Su Zian to police others? TSK. As an employee who charges my power bank, hot water bottle, phone, earphones, and laptop at the office, am I just super inconsiderate? It's unbelievable that some people actually sympathize with the capitalists. You really do see everything if you live long enough. Hearing her colleagues gossip, Su Zian's lips twitched uncontrollably, but someone with her personality would never admit defeat. She pointed at me and said, "Fine, since you have so many complaints about me, let's just end our friendship. I only asked for 6 months rent up front because I was worried you wouldn't be able to save enough money and would end up unable to pay your rent. My good intentions have been completely misunderstood. In that case, let's not live together anymore. You can move out today." My mouth was full of food, but that didn't stop me from responding, "Fine, I'll move out after work, and refund me the rent for the remaining months." She gritted her teeth and said, "Refund? You're the one breaking the lease." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone looked at her with even more disdain. Feeling resentful, she continued to challenge me, "You should immediately request a different workstation from the supervisor." "I don't want to sit with you." I quickly nodded, "Don't worry. I don't want you constantly peeking at my screen either. Every time I finish my tasks, you report to the supervisor and ask for more work to be assigned to me. I've long been fed up with being treated like a workhorse under your watch." Su Xian's pointing finger began to tremble. Her lips were pale, her eyes filled with anger, but she couldn't bring herself to utter a single word in rebuttal. In the end, she left in a huff. Meanwhile, Kihan, who had been by my side all along, watched me devour my food with teary eyes and pushed her own meal box toward me. "Don't rush, take your time. I just ordered a lot more delicious food, and it'll be delivered soon. If you don't have a place to stay, I have an apartment right next to the company. If you don't mind, you can stay there for now, and I won't charge you rent. I'll take care of you from now on." Kuhan's gentle tone made my eyes well up with tears. If it weren't for being at the office, I really want to burst into tears. "Miss, how could I, Yi Zhen, be worthy of this?" After lunch, Kuhan helped me ask the leader to apply for a seat change. I sat next to Kuhan the whole afternoon. I helped Kuhan with the data, completed the PowerPoint presentation, and came up with a creative plan. The total profit was 100,000 yuan. When the money was transferred into my account, I still felt a bit embarrassed. I said to Kuhan directly, "My monthly salary is only 3,500 yuan, and I don't even make 50,000 yuan a year. This 100,000 yuan is enough for me to work for you for 2 years. From now on, if you need me to do anything, just say it directly. There's no need to give me any more money." Kuhan shook his head. "The amount we agreed on at the beginning is what it should be. Friends shouldn't go back on their word. Besides, this small amount of money means nothing to me, so please accept it without worry." But taking someone's money makes one feel indebted. I insisted, "Those operations are actually quite simple. How about I teach you instead?" Kuhan still refused. "To be honest, I don't like working, and I don't want to work in the future. But my father insists that I take over the group. He said I either have to manage the group myself or find someone trustworthy to help me manage it. I think you would be perfect to help me manage the group." My heart warmed, and my hands trembled. "Miss, I only graduated from a second-tier university, but you are kind, hard-working, and have good character. We don't seem to have had much deep interaction. I've been watching you for a very, very long time." Kuhan said that from her first day at the company, she had been looking for someone who could help her manage the group. At first, she also paid special attention to those with high academic qualifications, but she felt they shared a common flaw, that is, they almost entirely lack empathy. My father's group primarily focuses on the real economy, where the largest proportion consists of grassroots employees. As managers, it is inevitable to interact with grassroots employees. If managers are arrogant, they cannot empathize with them. Methods and approaches must be rooted in human warmth and compassion. Excessively cold and rigid data-driven management will not make employees feel any attachment to the company. From a young age, my father's education for me was to hope that I would become an entrepreneur, not a capitalist. Kuhan also said that entrepreneurs should stand from the perspective of the nation, always prioritizing the well-being of the people. They should not exploit employees and consumers as harshly as capitalists do. From the group's perspective, serving the people can be divided into two categories. One is consumers. We need to continuously develop and progress, creating the most affordable and highest quality products for consumers, so that all consumers can enjoy the comfort brought by technological advancements in life. Another category is the internal employees who serve our group. They are the labor creators who stand with the group, partners who have dedicated their youth and passion to fulfill the noble goal of serving the people. We must never let those who contribute feel disappointed or disheartened. Therefore, we must improve the treatment of all employees, allowing them to feel the warmth of home within the group. However, it is clear that the group has performed poorly in this regard. Honestly, when I heard your salary was only 3,500, I was extremely sad. If my father knew that a subsidiary under his group was exploiting employees like this, he would probably shed tears. Kohan's words left me deeply shaken. I had never imagined that the group's owner would have such a grand vision and ambitious goals. At the same time, I had another question. Doesn't your dad look at the reports? How could he not know about the employees' salaries? Kohan sighed. Yes, such a large group, and my dad can't even see the employee salary list. Can you believe it? My dad doesn't even know that there's a small employee named Yijin under his branch company. The group is too big. One person can only cover so much ground. This is how Kohan ended up infiltrating the branch office to investigate his own company's situation. My dad wants to serve the people, but some capitalists have sneaked in. It's truly despicable. Didn't our department manager suddenly resign a while ago? Actually, he was caught for corruption. My curiosity was instantly piqued, and I pressed for more details. Kohan told me that on the day of her interview, the department manager invited her to dinner, saying he wanted to introduce her to the company, but in reality, the manager was attracted to her youth and beauty and wanted to keep her as a mistress. She found it strange. How much could a small department manager possibly spend to keep her? So she played along with the manager's indirect approach. As a result, Kohan discovered that this manager owned a mansion worth 100 million, luxury cars worth tens of millions, and was even willing to spend $1 million a month to keep a mistress. She was stunned, because, according to the report submitted by the branch company, this department manager's salary was only a few tens of thousands. Even if he had won the lottery or invested in stocks, it would be impossible to become this wealthy, so they arranged for a detective to investigate him. You never know until you look into it. After the investigation, it completely shattered people's worldview. The department manager actually falsified salary records, sales records, and actual costs. Many people from the headquarters were also working in collusion with him. The amount of money involved was enormous, and that money should have gone to countless grassroots families. My dad was so angry that he had a heart attack and ended up in the ICU several times, as my father's daughter. Even though I can't do this or that, I must still carry on my father's will, serve the people. Yizhen, are you willing to build a future with me? As I listened, my blood surged with excitement, yet, I still couldn't understand why Kohan chose me. It must be fate. Yizhen, we've met before. 5 years ago in Binhai, an elderly woman suddenly fell, and she kept calling out for help from those around her. Many people passed by, but no one dared to step forward to assist her. Only you helped her and even took her to the hospital. At that time, I thought you must be an incredibly righteous and kind-hearted girl. Before you joined the company, I also reviewed your work performance. You've always done an excellent and flawless job every time. You might not be aware, but many of your planning ideas were plagiarized by the department manager and submitted to the headquarters. This was all revealed after the department manager was arrested, as he confessed to it himself. I pursed my lips tightly. A raging fire began to burn. I grasped Kohan's hands. Miss, I will work hard and live up to your trust. Kohan smiled. I'll leave the important task of taking over the group to you. We looked at each other, tears welling up in our eyes. Just then, Kohan's screen began to flicker. Kohan was taken aback and opened the chat dialog box. It's Su Zian. She sent a long string of messages. Henin, I don't have much to explain about what happened at noon, but to keep you from getting hurt, I still have to say a few words. Yijin comes from a complicated family background. The fact that she looks down on the poor and flatters the rich, and cut off our friendship, should be enough to show her character. She also likes to date around and has some kind of illness. When you eat together, remember to use separate dishes. Moreover, her personal skill level is really quite average. Here is the department's performance report from last year. You can see that I am much more outstanding than her, so if you have any work needs, you can contact me, whether it's pulling data, making PowerPoint presentations, or planning proposals. I can do it for cheaper. Yijin charges 10,000, but I only need 9,500. I offer better value for money. By the way, Yizhen is particularly discriminatory towards women who are kept as mistresses, but Sister Henin, I was also kept by an older man in the past. I truly understand your hardships and struggles. Because of this shared experience, I hope we can become good friends. A series of messages were followed by the performance report from the previous year. On the performance report, the evaluation rating for Su Zian clearly showed signs of having been altered. Ko-han looked at the message and clicked her tongue twice, just as her fingers hovered over the keyboard, unsure how to respond. Su Zian sent over several more selfies. Each one had been meticulously beautified and edited. Miss Ko-han, these are my everyday photos. If you know any suitable uncles around you, feel free to introduce them to me. I also want to dress up beautifully every day like you, carrying high-end luxury bags and going in and out of all kinds of upscale stores. I'm a very tolerant person. It doesn't matter if it's a third, fourth, or fifth. As long as there's no pregnancy or children, I can serve uncle in every way. Ko-han's face fell completely. It looked like she was about to throw up. I suggested that Ko-han delete Su Zian. Ko-han said, keep the chat records. They might come in handy later. One afternoon, I finished my own work and also took care of Ko-han's tasks. Ko-han thought I was working too hard and casually transferred another 200,000 to me. She said she wanted me to be able to buy a house and a car as soon as possible, to settle down in this city. I was so moved that tears streamed down my face. At the same time, a question arose in my heart. Since your father is so wealthy, why doesn't he just give the money directly to the suffering people? Ko-han sighed softly. I used to ask my father the same question. He told me that poverty can never be solved by donations alone. If poverty could be solved through donations, the country wouldn't have to invest so much manpower and effort into poverty alleviation work. In the past, there were attempts at communal living, but the result was that those who worked hard ended up supporting those who didn't. The honest and diligent supported the lazy and cunning. Innovation in technology stagnated, and capable people were held back. Poverty alleviation is, in fact, a struggle against human nature. The goal of common prosperity has not yet been achieved. How can we dare to slack off now? My father builds schools, hospitals, and shelters for women and children, helping the vulnerable and those without the ability to act, so that one day they can grow into towering trees and become talents in science and technology. We must never allow those of low character, who only think about exploiting and harming others, to reap the benefits without contributing. Hearing this, I was filled with deep respect, and thus, I understood the profound intentions behind the various policies introduced by the country. I look forward even more to Ko-han finishing this grassroots experience, taking me to stand at a higher position, seeing more of the scenery, and striving to contribute a small part to the happiness of the people. Evening, Ko-han drove me back to the shared rental. We talked a lot along the way. I understand that her interests and aspirations are not in business, but rather in the artifacts buried in the earth, shaped by time and history. She said that when she sees those artifacts, she can even imagine the scenes of craftsmen meticulously carving them in another time and space, and she can sense the civilization of that era. She always feels that Chinese civilization still conceals many secrets and countless untold stories. She is so curious and full of longing. But she didn't want to easily give up on her father's will. After stabilizing her father's group, she would still continue to devote herself to the career she loved most. The car pulled up downstairs at the shared apartment. I asked Ko-han to wait for me in the car. I went upstairs alone and sorted out my clothes. As I was preparing to leave, Su Zian, who had been in the room, came out. She sneered. Did you say something bad about me in front of Ko-han? Why isn't she replying to my messages? I couldn't be bothered to deal with her and turned to leave, but she stopped me. We've lived together for so long. I've eaten with you and watched TV with you. Even if there's no credit, there's at least some hard work, right? Now that you're doing well with Ko-han, shouldn't you share a little with me? As I listened, my worldview nearly shattered. We ate together when it was time, each paying for our own meals. Every time we watched TV, it was always on your favorite channel. It was a life we both silently agreed to. How can you say you were keeping me company? Su Zian said with righteous indignation. Having one more person to eat with makes the meal more enjoyable. Isn't that what you said? Watching TV with someone makes it more immersive. Isn't that what you said too? I provided you with emotional value, and that can be converted into money, I sneered. So if I live with you, and I scrub the toilet, wash the dishes, mop the floor, do the laundry, And hang the clothes. Should that also be converted into money? If you're sick, go to the hospital. Don't disgust me here. She refused to back down, blocking the entire doorway. All this talk, and you're just unwilling to pay, right? Fine, give me the WeChat of the man who's keeping Kuhan, and I'll ask him for the money. Are you insane? I'm prettier than Kihan, and I have a better figure too. I'm doing Kihan a favor by becoming that old man's fourth mistress and sharing her workload. Move aside, will you give it or not? No, get lost. I forcefully pushed her away and hurried downstairs, afraid that Su Zian, shameless as she was, might run out and ask for the so-called old man's contact information right in front of Kuhan. Why are you panting so heavily? I swallowed hard, waving my hand and shaking my head. It's nothing, let's go. I can't wait to see the new place. On the way to Kuhan's apartment, Su Zian kept sending me messages. If you won't give me that man's contact information, then have Kuhan introduce me to a rich old man too. Otherwise, I'll make sure everyone in the company knows that Kuhan is a kept mistress, and I definitely won't hide the fact that you're working for Kuhan, so she ends up getting fired. I frowned, thinking of a solution. After much thought, I gave Su Zian the phone number of the old pervert who had groped me on the bus earlier. She was very happy when she received it and even thanked me. Although I had temporarily escaped Su Zian's harassment, someone like her would definitely realize she had been tricked and would come looking for trouble with Kuhan. As the knight by the young lady's side, I certainly cannot stand by and do nothing to expedite the occurrence of Su Zian's defecation incident. I voluntarily stepped back to a supporting role and recommended to the leadership during the meeting that Su Zian independently handle the project. The leadership had doubts about Su Zian's abilities and wanted to tactfully decline my suggestion, but Su Zian cried on the spot, still standing on the moral high ground to criticize and accuse the leader. All colleagues in the department can already develop projects independently. Why can't I? Manager Zhang, you can't think I'm just a useless vase just because I'm good looking. I need fairness. Manager Zhang had no choice but to go along with Su Zian's wishes and let her take on an independent project. Afterward, Su Zian even deliberately came up to me, looking quite pleased. Yi Zhen, I never expected you to be such a good sister. I'll remember this, and I won't forget to share any benefits with you later. It was only when she got close to me that I noticed her recent attire was a bit different. I stared at her for quite a while. She tossed her hair slightly, feigning affectation as she said, "What are you looking at? Never seen luxury goods before." I furrowed my brow. This luxury item was just too fake. Even the logo was printed wrong. Yet she continued in a haughty tone, "That uncle you introduced me to last time was quite something. He's a bit older and not much to look at, but he's very generous. He bought all these for me. Aren't they beautiful? Each piece costs tens of thousands." I was stunned. This costs tens of thousands. She smiled. Exactly, I originally said I didn't want it, but he insisted on giving it to me, saying it looked good on me. He even sent me a bunch of bags. I can't even carry them all if I change them every day. Look at you, you've been with Kihan for so long. Why haven't you found someone good to take care of you? That canvas bag is so ugly. Why are you still carrying it? I gave an awkward smile, probably understanding what was going on. Su Zian had been tricked by that old scoundrel. I didn't expose her. Only saying, it's all because you're too good looking. No one would look at someone like me. A canvas bag is fine. It can hold a lot. She snorted, but a woman can't just want clothes and bags. Once you wear these things, they lose their value. I need to get more money from that person, for a house, a car, and such. I have to at least be on par with Kihan. Just wait for me a bit longer. Once I make it big, you can follow me. I promise I'll be more generous than Kihan. I pursed my lips and said nothing. She left cheerfully with the new project file in hand, her high heels wobbling unsteadily as she walked, the slender heels twisting this way and that. This would make an average person struggle to stand steady, yet she can still walk with a swaying, graceful posture. Truly impressive. Meanwhile, several colleagues nearby couldn't help but tease Su Zian when they saw her like this. Su Zian's poor character aside, how can her fashion sense be so terrible too? Yeah, how dare she wear such a cheap knockoff in public, probably trying to imitate Kuhan. She's got that heiress style. But what's this? Fake heiress style. Hilarious. Kuhan said she's recently uncovered evidence of corruption involving the branch company's CEO. she plans to return to headquarters, team up with a private investigator and the police to take down this rotten fish. She also asked me to keep a close eye on things at the company and let her know immediately if anything suspicious comes up. I patted my chest and assured her that I would definitely keep a close watch, not missing even the slightest detail. Whenever I had time, I would look around the company, left and right. I didn't miss a single spot. The corridors, restrooms, stairwells, all for fear that the branch manager might pack up and run. But I never expected, I run into Su Zian everywhere. She's often on the phone with someone, sometimes she's complaining about work, sometimes about colleagues, more often than not, she's complaining about how stingy and cheap the other person is. Next time, can you take me to a high-end hotel? Every time you say you're afraid your wife will find out, so we end up in those 50 yuan hourly rooms in the alley. I'm getting red bumps all over my body. What about the car and house you promised to buy me? How long are you planning to drag this out? If you don't buy them for me, I'll go straight to your wife and ask for them. And can you stop being so desperate every time we meet? Last time, you gave me 250 yuan. Was that to treat me like a beggar? I want 5 million, not 250 yuan. I know you're tired of high-end hotels and prefer street food, but I'm really tired of those 5 yuan vegetable pancakes from the roadside stalls. Next time, buy one and sit with me in a fancy hotel while we eat, several times. Su Zian argued with Director Zhang over incorrect project data. Director Zhang was so angry that he slammed the table, but Su Zian showed no remorse. Instead, she flipped the table, emphasizing how strong, capable, and amazing she was. Most of the colleagues were stunned, thinking Su Zian had gone mad. A few colleagues who enjoyed watching the drama deliberately approached Su Zian, praising her for being brave, calling her the modern workplace heroine, and encouraging her to shake things up in the office. Su Zian was emboldened by the praise and grew increasingly reckless. Mr. Zhang was often so angry that he had to take quick-acting heart pills. Some advised Mr. Zhang to fire Su Zian. It wasn't that Mr. Zhang didn't want to fire Su Zian, it was just that the higher-ups wouldn't allow it, because the group was investigating the flow of funds in the branch, and everyone was now a link in the chain of evidence. When Su Zian publicly insulted Mr. Zhang as a bald monster, a stupid ox, and a little punk in front of everyone, Mr. Zhang finally exploded. He slapped Su Zian and told her to get out. Su Zian refused to back down and fought back against Mr. Zhang, but as a woman, she was no match for him. In the end, her clothes were torn, and her shoes were thrown out the window. She left in a humiliated state, growing angrier the more she thought about it. When she went to seek comfort from the old scoundrel, he was suddenly taken away by the police. Su Zian, bewildered, followed them to the police station for questioning, only to realize that she had been deceived by the old scoundrel. The wealthy man she thought he was turned out to be an idle, uneducated loafer. Not only was the old man homeless, carless, and burdened with usurious debts, but he had also sexually harassed women in public on several occasions and was entangled in several lawsuits. Su Zian's world came crashing down, and she soon joined the group demanding compensation from the old man. The old man was despicable and rotten, but he still knew right from wrong. Faced with a crowd of women demanding justice, he denied that he should compensate Su Zian, because she was willing. She was the one who called me and said she wanted to sleep with me. We were in a serious relationship. Honestly, she was just a bit younger. There was really nothing else special about her. She had bad breath, body odor, and she didn't flush the toilet after using it. She kept asking me to move in with her, and I always refused. With other girls, I was just attracted to their looks, but with her, I genuinely had no other choice. Su Zian was so furious that she wished she could take a knife and slash the old scoundrel, but because the police were present, Su Zian was unable to succeed. Moreover, after reviewing the numerous chat and call records provided by the old scoundrel, the police also felt that Su Zian had initially approached him with malicious intent. Based on the various incidents that occurred during their relationship, the old scoundrel had indeed not taken much advantage. The old scoundrel's meager retirement salary was all given to Su Zian. He was exploited by her to the point of suffering from lumbar muscle strain, a herniated disc, and kidney problems. Su Zian was forced to return to her rented apartment. It was also at this time that Mr. Zhang posted a video of Su Zian being severely beaten in his social media circle. urging his peers to remember Su Xian's face and warning them never to hire her into their companies. Su Xian felt that her life was over. She thought of me. She believed that the source of all this was me. She called me hysterical, spewing filth. I put it on silent, letting her vent until the phone died. But how could a few curses be enough to vent her anger? So she put on that dress I intentionally left in the rental apartment and, under the cover of darkness, took a massive dump in Mr. Zhang's office. She wanted to disgust Mr. Zhang and, even more, to get me fired. Unfortunately for her, that long-unused surveillance camera had already been replaced by me with a 24K high-definition one. Every move of Su Xian was captured in the video. Early the next morning, a foul, fishy smell filled the entire office. Upon discovering the situation in the office, Manager Zhang immediately reviewed the surveillance footage, then called the police while holding a fast-acting heart relief pill in his mouth. The police intervened in the investigation and immediately apprehended Su Xian. Su Xian attempted to defend herself, but the high-definition video had already been uploaded to the internet by onlookers. With no way to deny it, she admitted her mistake, apologized, and was promptly fired by Mr. Zhang on the spot. However, upon returning home, she began a live stream, tearfully recounting how she had been exploited by the company for so long that she could no longer bear it, which led her to take such actions. She accused her colleagues of bullying her, her superiors of harassing her, and especially accused me of deceiving her. She consistently maintained her pitiful, hard-working image throughout. Netizens were also quite taken with this approach. They comforted her, saying she could start over, and suggested she try live streaming sales, promising to help her through her difficulties. However, how could I let someone with such poor character get away with it? I compiled her past actions into a 150-slide presentation and posted it online, accusing her behavior with the highest standards of academic paper discussion. After all, the lovely and kind-hearted netizens deserve to know the truth. As expected, just as Su Xian's follower count had barely surpassed 100,000. Right when she was about to start live streaming sales, a massive wave of traffic flooded into her live stream. Have some shame, Su Xian, you're nothing but a disgusting homewrecker. Mr. Zhang is such a good person, and you've given him several heart attacks with your antics. How dare you complain? Our entire department has been humiliated because of you. Get lost. Have you completely forgotten all those things about you bullying others at school? Should I start a live stream and recount them one by one for you? Her live stream was once flooded with viewers, and the comments were filled with profanity, to the point that the platform had to ban her account. Many of Su Xian's past scandals were dug up, including her being a mistress while in school, working illegally at a foot massage parlor, and having a gambling father, a mother who sells vegetables, and a good-for-nothing younger brother. Her family thought she had become an internet sensation and came to the city together to rely on her. No matter how much she explained that her situation wasn't good, her family simply didn't believe her, treating her with either beatings or scoldings. She had no choice but to give all her money to her parents and younger brother, and reluctantly continued to look for a job. But this world is not friendly to people with a criminal record. No company was willing to hire such a notorious online blacklister, and no manager wanted to take on the high risk of having someone so prone to causing trouble under their supervision. Su Xian couldn't find a job and shamelessly returned to her old company once again. That day, I sat before her in my capacity as the branch manager. She stared at me in a daze, taking a long time to process the situation. Yi Zhen, you've become the boss. How did you? Thanks to Kuhan. Her father is the chairman of the parent company. She thought highly of me, and after uncovering the corruption of the former general manager, she promoted me. From now on, I plan to follow her closely. Yi Zhen, you're a CEO now, so can you let me come back? I promise I'll work really hard. Honestly, you're so rich now, you surely don't mind having one more freeloader, right? Oh, and could you arrange something for my parents and brother too? For the sake of all the years we've known each other, give each of them an annual salary of 500,000. I don't ask for much, just a monthly salary of 500,000 for myself. Her words were quite amusing. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. What are you laughing at? I just think you're quite naive. Really, my friends all say that about me, thinking I'm kind-hearted, good-natured, and beautiful. I'll start as the general manager's assistant. Then, I'll follow you, keep you company for meals and TV. Just like before, sorry, that might have to happen in your dreams, since I still had things to do. I didn't have time to chat with her. Seeing that I couldn't meet her demands, she threatened to jump off a building. I had no choice but to call security and have her escorted out of the compound. Later, I heard that she got married, forced by her parents and younger brother, to a 60-year-old man who had an apartment. But it was rented. The family of 5 was crammed into a rental house. Relying on Susie and pushing the old man's wheelchair out to beg for a living every day, the old man's health was failing, and he passed away within a year. Without the old man's pitiable presence, Susie couldn't even beg for much money, so, her parents broke her legs. She lay on the ground begging, and occasionally someone recognized her as the poop queen, happily taking photos with her to post on social media. After working at the branch for 3 years, I transferred to the headquarters. Another 5 years later, I became the manager of the main company. On the day Kohan handed the company over to me, she also set off to pursue her passion for cultural relics. We often meet and chat, sharing interesting stories from our lives. A decade, I have created 500,000 jobs for society. Employee salaries have increased by 35%. At the same time, to benefit my colleagues, I established a residential community and school within the group. Addressing a series of difficulties they faced, that year, I appeared on television and made the news. As an entrepreneur, after the interview, Kohan excitedly called me, Shinjin, I knew you could do it, you're amazing. Looking at the Outstanding Entrepreneur banner hanging on the wall, my eyes also welled up with tears. May all those who forge ahead be met with a beautiful tomorrow.